another bright spot has been Kevin Knox, man, and he's been fun to watch, man. Like he's just come out of nowhere, and I was a guy that was like, first couple games of the season, I'm sitting there like, why is this guy even on our team? But dude, he's literally like he's fun to watch. Like I don't know, what have you seen from him? He hasn't had the greatest games, the last 2 games, but he had a 3-game stretch there where this guy looked like a stud. Like what are you thinking there?
I mean, when we signed him, I was like, that's an interesting player that you want to roster. And I honestly didn't think he was going to make the team following training camp. And so it was interesting for me to see that Troy Weaver was actually committed and had some sort of idea for what he wanted to do with Kevin Knox. And that's, I think, coming to fruition a little bit right now. This is exactly what he got Kevin Knox for. When we're injured, when we're lacking wing depth, we need someone who can come in, hit threes, which he has been shooting at a very good clip recently, and also just give us a spark when we need it. Kevin Knox, former lottery pick, he's not that old yet. Definitely someone who is not a bad person to have at the end of your bench.
Believe it or not, he's actually the same age as Sadiq Bey.
That's crazy to think about.
I know. But yeah, looking at his numbers, career high 45% from the field. His previous career high was 39, so he'd never even shot in 40% before. Right. 36 from 3. That's tied for second best for his career. And I don't know, man. I'm really impressed with his rebounding. He's got very good size and length out there. And obviously his shooting, he had some big 3-point shooting games, went 6 of 8 for 3. And had 21 points a couple of games ago. But with that being said, listen, I'm not saying Pistons fans are hyping him up, but it's kind of like what is like. Let's look at this like from an overall perspective. Is this just a hot game, a hot stretch? Is he just going to be a bench player and probably be off this team in a year or two? Is that the realistic situation?
Yeah, I don't think he's. I mean, we could say this is the same situation as Josh Jackson. He did the same thing last year. He came and people were like, what was this signing about? And then he all of a sudden had this stretch of games where he was crazy and they were like, whoa, Josh Jackson. And he was exciting. People like that he's, from Michigan and was representing and, he was fun and all. But at the end of the day, he was never more than just a glorified bench player at the end of the day. And so he couldn't get past that. And we traded him. And so I think that's always a possibility. Kevin Knox gets good enough, we could trade him. We could use him in a trade, just like Troy Weaver did earlier. So, you could think of it as an investment in that sense for Troy Weaver, and there's no harm. There's no harm. If he doesn't turn out, we let him walk. We're not paying him that much. And it was worth it. So far, if he can keep doing what he's doing, I mean, I think it's definitely worth it for us. The only direction we can go with him is up. So.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because with Josh Jackson, I was literally going to bring that up. Because, you saw him and he was like, dang, he could be like a piece to this core in a couple of years. And I don't want to make the same mistake with Kevin Knox. But you see the talent, man. He can shoot. He's got the size. I against the Suns, I remember he blocked a Devin Booker, mid-range shot. And I was like, damn, bro. He has the talent. Again, that's just consistency. And as much as we want to get excited, because I hate to say this, but he's what we want Sadiq Bey to be, right? Is just a guy who knocks down threes,
Yeah. And we need Sadiq to be shooting like that. I never thought I'd be saying that. Yeah. But that's the reality. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Knox, he got drafted in the lottery for a reason. And it's definitely worth considering that he was stuck, quote unquote, stuck in New York, which has been known to struggle with draft picks that they've had. They had, I believe, Mitchell Robinson was the first draft pick that they re-signed to a second contract in the last, 20 years or something like that. You see all their other guys, everyone ends up leaving New York. And then where did he go? He got shipped to Atlanta, which also had a lot of depth at that position with Cam Reddish and with DeAndre Hunter and Kevin Huerter. There's just a lot of guys there. And so he never even got really a chance there. So I think more than anything, we're seeing the result of him getting an opportunity to actually play and maybe play in a role where he's not limited to, just, touching the ball very rarely and only getting minutes in rare games. Kevin Knox is actually playing for us. He's a rotation player right now. Yeah. And I don't think he's gotten that chance in a little while. So,
yeah. I was at the point where I wanted to see what he could do as a starter. Like, I know it might be
Yeah.
a little soon for that, but there's just so many positive signs for me. He's still young. He's got good size and can move, decently well. His shooting looks good. Like, there's a lot to be positive about, but I just think we have to be patient, and we just have to be realistic about it, that
Right.
it's only like, I mean, he had a really good 3-game stretch. The last couple games hasn't really done a whole lot, but it's been exciting, and it'll be something, that we can, watch as the season goes along.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely something that, definitely can be a positive for us. And not really anything we need to worry about there. Hopefully, he's not playing super meaningful minutes, which means his minutes should for the most part be fine. He can do what he needs to do out there, what he wants to do, and try to be his best self.